I try this again. I'm trying a new application to do video tutorials with. I did one successfully, in my estimation,
I resent the pictures.
earlier. And, oh yeah, I got this before. I'm going to cancel out of that. Just using some customized materials that I don't have. See, I put this roof on your model, a hip roof. You said you wanted a hip roof. Now, mine that I put on there has a dead valley here, but I thought the video I made didn't work, so I'm going to delete this and start over and video doing it. So delete those roof planes. I think when you sent me the file, it looked something like that. And so I'm going to do the steps that I did before to come up with this product. And I recommend that when you're learning the software that you use this command up here. It's under the, I think it's under Window. Yeah, there it is, Window, Tile vertically. Or the keyboard command is Shift plus F6. This way you can kind of watch things as they develop. There's the front porch area. And then on the right hand side, I've got the plan view screen. I'm going to zoom in on it. And I'm going to turn off some of the layers that are on so that this doesn't look quite so confusing as it would by default. I'm going to go over to layer display options. And we'll turn off, I'm going to hit the D key to go to dimensions. We'll turn off dimensions. I'm going to hit the P key to go to the P's, and we'll turn off plants. Yeah, that helped a little bit. I'm going to turn off living area over in plan defaults. There we go, show living area. All these other things are just clutter from my point of view. You just want to be able to focus on just what you're working on and not be constantly selecting things that you're not trying to select. So like this piece of stuff here is on furniture exterior. We'll turn that layer off. DF key for furniture. Where'd it go? Furniture exterior, there it is. Now this is Chief Premiere X6, but it's all of these software titles in Home Designer and all the way up to Premiere are pretty much programmed the same. They're just more bells and whistles in the more expensive software. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be using the Build Roof tool and the Join Roof tool and the Break Line tool. So again, we'll zoom in here. And I notice that you've created the porch with invisible walls. That's fine. It defines the space, and it'll tell when I start building roofs, it'll tell them to build at this ceiling height that you've set here. So that's already preset. To start, I'll just click on the Build Roof tool to just select it. We're not going to auto build roofs. We're just going to make that tool active and left click and drag. And it created a little roof baseline. Then I'm going to drag my mouse in the direction I want it to slant and then left click and it creates the roof plane. See, there it is. And it'll come in at the height dictated by the settings in the room dialog box over which you're drawing. I'm going to click on that and just reshape it some so it goes up the roof, and we'll reshape this edge by just left clicking and dragging on it. When you get this dialog here, I recommend you just click on Don't Show This Again during the session and cancel. I never used that dialog in 22 years. I've never found a good use for it. I just closed it down. Now we'll click on the tool again to make sure that it's still active, then left click and drag. Another roof plane. You'll see it come into being there. We'll click on its edge and slant it over. And then this edge here, I'm going to select this one and join them together using the Join Roofs tool right there. Left click, and they join. If things are laid out pretty well, then they'll snap right together. We'll line up that edge there so that looks nice. And we need another hip plane over on the other side. So we'll select the roof plane tool, left click and drag to create a little baseline there, and then move the cursor in the direction I want it to slant. And it's going to come in at 412 because that's what's set over here under the build roof dialog. That's what you set up at 4. So it just, when you're manually creating roof planes, it'll create them at that pitch. And it picks up its height from the room dialog box over which you're operating. So we're going to reshape that, reshape the edge of this side. I'm going to make this into a triangular shaped roof plane. There we go. Now I'm going to click on this edge, join roofs tool, click on the adjacent edge, and they should snap together. If they don't snap together, it's because they're different pitches or they're at different baseline heights or something like that. That's the usual cause. Now this upper edge, let me turn this to a different rendering camera so perhaps you can see easier. Click on this screen to make it active, and click on the render types and make it a vector view. I'm going to turn the color off, so now it's just black and white lines. I think it'll also help if I turn off the patterns and the framing. So you've got framing on, you've got patterns on. I'm going to go over to display options. We'll go to hit the F key for framing, and then turn the framing off. There's no reason I need to see framing, and this is the camera view set. We'll turn off all the framing in okay, see how those lines disappeared? Now we'll find, I think it's patterns. There it is, patterns 3D views. We'll uncheck that. Now it's just a lot simpler. I think it's easier to see, especially when you're trying to learn something. I'm going to click on the upper edge of this roof plane, and then hit the join roofs tool, left click, and then click on this line here, and they should join and make a ridge there. And we have a ridge here and a ridge here, and a potential valley and a valley over here. Now the big roof plane, let me zoom back so you can see this. We'll click on its edge and select it. This big roof plane here that these porch roof planes have to tie into, I'm going to have to alter them somewhat so that we can finish that. I'll hit the brake line tool and put a brake along in there on the edge of the porch, and hit it again and put a brake kind of in the center of the porch, and create the geometry necessary for this to tie into this line and this line to tie to that one. And now we'll join roofs to those lines that I've laid out. Yeah, the software is very good at figuring that sort of thing out. I mean, back in the bad old days, you didn't have this join roofs tool, and it was a lot harder. It's quite easy now, comparatively easy. Now the only thing left is we got a little bit of a problem here on the edge, this edge over here, and we got a dead valley, which I pointed out that we would have that when I started. I'm going to click on this roof plane, hit the brake line tool, and go around the corner of this wall here and snap that to the end. That should clean that up. Yeah, that cleans that up. Now in this tutorial, I'm not going to put in a roof cricket over here. I think this is close enough for government work, so to speak. And you would just draw a manual roof plane in here at probably 112 pitch, and then manually tie it in there to get rid of that dead valley. But for now, this is good enough in what I intended to accomplish in the first place. So I'll turn the click on this screen, turn the color back on, and we'll turn the patterns back on. All these things are just turn on and turn off as you see fit. There we go. And we change the render camera type back to standard. Okay, so that's how that works. And thanks for your kind attention. Let me see if I can figure out how to turn this thing off. It's Shift F4, is it? That's not it. See if I can find that command.